So still January 2020, we're doing question number 2. Question number 2A says, factorize the following expression completely. Ladies, gentlemen, whenever you hear the word factorize, the first thing you need to do is to see if there is a common factor. Look at the terms in your expression and see if there is a common factor. In I can see that H is common. Once there's a common factor, you're going to put the highest common factor, in this case, which is still H, outside of the bracket. Now, remember, when we're removing brackets, we multiply. Well, to put stuff back in brackets, you're going to do the opposite, which is to divide. So we're going to say H into 5H squared, and that is 5H. And H into 12HG is 12G. All right. So that cannot be factorized any further. So that has been completely factorized. II is factorization of a quadratic expression. Now, I'm using the ABC method. The first thing I would do is I would find out what is AC. A is the number in front of x squared, which is 2. C is the constant term, which is minus 6. So AC is minus 12. B is the number in front of x. B is minus 1. Now, to factorize, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the middle term and factorize by grouping. To split the middle term, I need to find two numbers. When I multiply the two numbers together, I get negative 12. When I add the same two numbers together, I get a negative 1. Now, guys, the only way you can multiply two numbers together and get a negative answer is if one of the two numbers is negative and if one is positive. I also said whenever AC is negative, the sign of B is the sign of the larger number. Now, the two numbers I'm looking for are minus 3 and positive 4. Sorry, go again. Minus 4 and positive 3. Now, minus 4 times 3 is minus 12. Minus 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So I need two numbers. When I multiply them together, I get negative 12. When I add the same two numbers together, I get negative 1. The two numbers are negative 4 and positive 3. So now I have 2x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 6. The first two terms, 2x is common. 2x into 2x squared is x. 2x into 4x is 2 plus, over to the right, 3 is common. 3 into 3x is x. 3 into 6 is 2. Now, in this expression, x minus 2 is common. That goes over to the left. And in the next bracket, we're going to put 2x plus 3. So this is how we factorize a quadratic expression using the ABC method. All right. So next we're asked to solve this equation. This is a simple equation. There are 4 steps. I think when I'm teaching, I normally give students 4 steps for solving a simple equation. They're not carved in tablets of stone, but if you use them, they should work all of the time. Step 1, I'm going to remove the brackets by applying distributive law. So I have r plus 3 is equal to 3 times r is 3r, and 3 times minus 5 is minus 15. So distributive law says whatever is in the bracket is multiplied by what is immediately outside the bracket. Next, I'm going to get all r's on one side of the equation and all numbers on the other side of the equation. So I have 3 plus 15 is equal to 3r minus r. Negative 15 on the right goes over to the left and become positive. Positive R on the left goes over to the right and become negative. So now I have 18 is equal to 2R. And the last step is to divide both sides by the number in front of R. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And when I do, I'm going to get R is equal to 9. R is equal to 9. C, at C, we're asked to make K the subject. Now, when K is the subject, I must have K by itself on one side. So in this case, the first thing I'm going to do is anything that don't have K in it, I'm going to take it to the other side. So I have 2A minus 3T is equal to pi K squared. Positive 3T on the right goes over to the left and become negative. Remember, I want K to be the subject, so I need to have K by itself. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get rid of the pi. On the right, I have pi multiplied by K squared. The opposite of multiplication is division. So to get rid of pi, I'm going to divide both sides by pi. All right, remember an equation is like a balance. So what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So now I have K squared is equal to 2A minus 3T all over pi. Now the opposite of square is square root. Remember, if you have K squared, to get rid of the square, you have to find the root. Now, finding the root is the same as saying you raise to the power 1/2. So K, the opposite of square root, is the square root of 2A minus 3T all over pi. K is equal to 2A minus 3T over pi. D. So at the D part of the question, D says, a farmer plants 2 crops, potatoes and corn on a 10-acre piece of land, 10-hectare piece of land. The number of hectares of corn is C. The number of hectares of corn planted, C, must be at least twice the number of hectares of potatoes, which is P. Write 2 inequalities to represent the scenario above. So inequality number 1. Well, the most obvious one, he says the number of hectares of corn, which is C, must be at least. Now, at least is an inequality term. It means greater than or equal to. Must be at least twice the number of hectares of potato. The number of hectares of potato is P. Twice P would be 2P. That is the most obvious one. Inequality number 2, not so obvious, but you can reason it out. Now, I have 10 acres of land, or 10 hectares of land to plant. I'm planting corn, plus I'm planting what? Potato. So C is the number of hectares of corn, P is the number of hectares of potato, and together, these two must be less than or equal to 10. I have only 10 acres of land to plant. I can plant less than 10 or exactly 10, but I can't plant more than 10. So the number of hectares of corn plus the number of hectares of potato must be less than or equal to 10.